Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Pepper and Salt Podcast. I'm Gideon Bradley, and I'm here with,
Barrett Go Boy.
and we have a special guest
Elisha Bradley.
who's also my father. And we're going through a very special podcast. This is not sports related. This is a movie type podcast. That's something that we all three know a lot about. So yeah, it's gonna be a very entertaining episode.
Yeah, we're jumping into some new content. Kind of wanted to do something about shows and movies and current and past stuff. So we're gonna talk about start with some more current stuff. So we're gonna start with Squid Game. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys your disclaimer. If you haven't watched it yet, you don't want any spoilers, you should just skip the first part of this video because we're probably going to be throwing out a ton of spoilers because we're going to kind of discuss the show and a few of the episodes and maybe some of the games that were played, and go over kind of how the show flowed and kind of what we thought about the show. And then maybe we'll kind of get into the future of the show because it seems like towards the end of it, it's definitely going to be continued on into another season. So, but we're going to get started with just kind of our basic rundown on the show. And I'll start with Gideon, just kind of get his feelings on the show and kind of give a rundown of what went on in the show.
Well, yeah, I came to the show like kind of later than everyone else because I wasn't in a rush to watch it because it wasn't in English. But if that's why you're holding off from watching the show, then you should just watch it because it really doesn't matter that it's dubbed. It's just an overall really good show. And I mean, the first episode really gets you into the show with the first game they play, with the red light, green light game they play. And I mean, after that episode, I feel like every episode just got better and better and sadder and sadder. And it was one of the best shows that Netflix has put out.
Yeah, man, for sure. Emotional roller coaster. Was way more emotional than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking it was more like a battle royale vibe where it was just going to be absolute violence, but it was more emotion than even the emotional part of it actually kind of overshadowed the violence for me.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird.
I got a question. Is there people that are making us think about because it's dubbed? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
People are afraid to watch the show because they're not getting the full effect. You know what I'm saying?
That's weird because, like, for me, I think that, like, I don't mind dub. The dub is always, like, over the top, the voices, but it's still cool. But I would understand if it was, like, subtitles. That would make more sense to me because you got to read and then watch. But dubbed, I have no problem with that. Plus, I think it pertains to, I don't know how it is in other countries, if it is, but, like, in America, like, I think it starts off in the beginning with a popular game. Who hasn't played red light, green light? So that really draws you in. And then, of course, that Sinatra music that it plays. So it's, like, really pertaining to, our culture. So I don't see why that's a thing. I don't get it.
Yeah, there was a lot of I see a lot of people that like dislike the show, not only for the dubbing, but also at the end, you have the VIPs, and they're the only American characters in the show. And I see some people are angry that the VIPs were like the people behind it, and that's like Korea's way of saying that that's what us Americans represent.
What, is it not believable though?
I mean,
I didn't see that. I didn't see that being too far outside of the truth, to be honest with you. When it came to the dubbing, I didn't have an issue with it. I thought it was one of the more smoother dubs I've seen. I mean, it flowed really well. It was easy to follow. I'm like Eli. I felt like the dubbing was great because trying to watch that and read it at the same time, I probably would have had to watch it three times to get the full effect of what was going on. But yeah, I thought it was awesome. I thought red light, green light was crazy. Half the people get whacked in the first episode. Like, it was insane. I was like, what is going on? Because they immediately start getting you attached to these characters, and then immediately they start killing them. And it was just like, what? Like, that was like the wake-up call because I went in blind. I really knew nothing about it. I had heard a couple things here and there, but I purposely didn't read anything about it. And I went and watched it all almost pretty much as back to back as I could get it. And I thought that that first game was absolute insanity. And then when it transitioned into the second game, that game was absolutely crazy too, because it was a totally un-American. Like, I didn't know anything about that game, and so that part was interesting to me as well.
What was the? Oh, that was the one with the different, like
The shapes one.
the shapes.
That was
Yeah,
the honeycomb.
the honeycomb.
Yeah, the honeycomb game.
Yeah, that was foreign. I've never even heard of
Yeah,
that.
because it's, and that was that in my opinion was my least favorite one, because one, I feel like that's one I would die on, and
Yeah.
two, that was like the most stressful one. Well, it was the second stressful one for me. The marbles one had me stressed out, which was, I don't know if that was my favorite episode by far, because it was
Yeah.
the saddest one. But I kind of want to go down the line, and I guess start with Barrett. What was your favorite game out of all of them?
I think my favorite game was probably. I mean, I think the most relatable game still would be Red Light, Green Light. But I'm with you. I think the marble game was just like, that entire episode just had you like stressed out from the jump, because it was such a kick in the gut, man.
The
Like,
twist.
one of the hardest kick in the guts I've seen on any show ever. Because when they were pairing up at the beginning, they're all pairing up, and you think, okay, they're all going to be together, and they assume the same thing, and then they get inside and come to find out, no, this is half of these people are going to die, and you've got to kill the person you just paired up with, basically, and you've got to make up a game with marbles, and it's going to decide who lives and dies. And so I kept trying to think, like, okay, is there a way they can beat this? Like, is there some way out of it? And there never was.
No way
And
out of it.
it was just devastating. The old guy and
There's a
the
lot to say
main
with the old guy.
Yeah.
was just like devastating,
It
man.
was, that was the worst.
I'm with you. That was my favorite episode, but man, it was a tough one, dude, for sure.
So yeah, on the same question, I think the marble game was my favorite too. Also because, yeah, like you said, it had that twist. Like, literally, you know that what I don't, forgive me, not knowing the names, because I don't know.
I don't know the names.
But the guy with the tattoo on his neck, and then
Okay,
the girl that he liked, we'll say that. So they, like, literally after, they didn't like each other, right? They hated each other. Had they picked each other as a partner, if they knew what was going on, they would have picked each other, right? But so everyone thought, like you said, that they picked who they liked, and they just switched the tables on them. So that's what made it so cool. My second favorite, because I got to throw that in, because if it wasn't that marble game, it would be the bridge. That bridge one was crazy.
Oh my god, yeah, that bridge one was crazy. That was one of the crazier episodes I've watched.
Dude, the bridge was insane.
Yeah.
The bridge was like, dude, like when I saw it and I knew it was happening, I was like, this is going to be amazing.
I bet you anything that the Google algorithm for looking out how you tell the difference between what is it, plexiglass and real glass? When
a lot of things went from that show. I do want to say one of my favorite things about the story was the cop infiltrating the game and being in there dressing up as the Pink Soldiers. That was my favorite storyline out of all of it, and one of my favorite characters of the show. Spoiler alert from what I'm about to say, but do we think he's dead?
Oh,
I definitely do not think he's dead.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I felt like it was kind of similar to what happened to the old guy. Because like when I was watching that, I was like, man, that's weird they did not show him get killed. They literally showed pretty much everyone else get offed, and he didn't. And I was immediately suspicious, but not suspicious enough, because I'm not going to lie, the ending of it took me by surprise. I did not think, like when he got that card and he showed up out there and the old dude was in the bed, I was like, what? Like my whole mind exploded. Like I didn't see that coming at all.
yeah. I'm just commenting on that too. Yeah, the old man had me. Like, it's funny because when Valerie was rewatching it, and then we saw the scene where he was the marble game, it was like it makes you feel different about him.
Yeah.
When you know, but before the first time, that was the saddest. That was the saddest scene in the movie, I think, the whole old man thing. So.
Yeah, but it's overall a really solid show. And it's actually a show, I don't know if you guys know this, that essentially saved Netflix from being in a crazy amounts of debt, because it's one of the only shows when a show, when Netflix makes shows like Stranger Things or like You or all the shows that they make out or they produce, it usually is pops off in certain like countries. But this was their first like global show where it's getting an audience from all over, and it's like really saved Netflix from being into really bad marketing and money troubles. So do we think Squid Games is the best show that Netflix has produced? Start with Barry.
Man, that's tough. I think it's a great show. But man, you got some hard hitters there, man. Witcher for me is like an amazing show. I'm still waiting on that next season to come out, but yay COVID, I guess. But that's tough, man. I don't know if it's the best. I will say it's probably the most original. It definitely, that was such an original idea. And I heard that they floated that thing around for like 10 years trying to get somebody to make it. And Netflix took a chance on it because nobody else really wanted to touch it. I don't think anybody thought it was going to be what it ended up being. And so good for Netflix to pick up something and make it and take a chance on something like that, because it's definitely the most original thing I've seen in a long time. But I don't know if I go best Netflix show ever. For me, that may be like a stretch. We'll see what it does. I mean, I'm kind of real interested to see where they try to take it, but I'll pass it over to Eli to see kind of what his take is on it.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely original. It gets, definitely points for originality, and it is. You can't stop watching it for sure. So it's got you hooked. But the best show, I do like The Witcher. You got me on the spot because like I know there's some other shows. How to Get Away with Murder. That's a good show, dude.
How old are you?
Yeah. But yeah, I know there's more, but yeah, I think this is more like a trendy fad type thing. It's original, and it will probably last. I don't know how many seasons they can make though. You know what I'm saying? Like how many, dude, if you can get past season 3 with some original stuff still going on, that's 2 more years. Then kudos, but I don't know. So it's hard to say. I think it's really good. And yeah, it gets points for originality for sure.
To kind of wrap up the Squid Games thing, I want to end with one thing. Did we agree with the player that ended up winning the whole thing? Is that the guy that you were kind of rooting for to win, or did you feel like someone else should have won?
I thought they did an awesome job of him winning and still losing somehow. Like he won and never touched a penny of the money. Yeah. Like, it was crazy. That whole spin where he basically he won and never did anything with the money was crazy. But it didn't surprise me. I mean, they kind of followed him the entire time, so you kind of knew that he was either going to win or it was going to be like a Walking Dead thing and everybody's going to lose, But I do know that I feel like they did right, and I feel like it could have been one of those shows that was a one and done too. I mean, to me, almost the ending felt a little forced. Like maybe they had a clue of how good it was going to be, and they kind of forced it into a second season. Yeah. Because man, I feel like you could have easily gift wrapped this thing and probably had one of the best shows ever made in one season. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It felt a little forced for me, but it was a great show. I'm excited to see the second season. And I know, like, for me, my excitement piece is, like, what are some new games? Like, where can you take this? Like, because it kind of, like, the entire time I was watching the show, my mind's just working, Like, what are some kid games that you could just turn into, like, absolute chaos, Like, double Dutch jump rope. Like, how insane could that be? Like, with razor blades, or like, what, do y'all have some ideas on like games that you think you could throw in there that would fit in there and be absolute chaos?
Oh man, it would be kind of like a mix between that. It's so original, but like kind of like Saw. So like kind of piggybacking off of what you said, like with the jump rope or double Dutch, like they go to a bag and they got to pick what kind of rope they're gonna Dutch rope with, and then one picks razors, and then the other picks one with honey on it. Something trivial that they ain't gonna die of. Things like that. I don't know. Just having my mind raced, but I was thinking Red Rover popped in my head when they had red light, green light. Red Rover is a game that I'm sure everyone's played, and but I don't know what it would be like. Red Rover let who come over. I don't know how they would do it, but have that game in there and make something deadly. Like, I don't know, they throw down something on the floor between you and the guy that shouts Red Rover, and you got to run over some tacks with spikes on it or something. I don't know. Crazy stuff.
One thing that I was thinking of is I was surprised they didn't have like a tag. I was thinking that when he said that question, I was like, you tag someone with some dynamite, tag on a bomb, and they just blow up. That would be amazing. But another one that would be really suspenseful. Imagine they play like sticks. You have two characters. Whoever has the shortest stick dies. Like I like to eliminate. You pick two guys that you like that are mains, and they have to pick between two sticks. That would kind of be like the marbles.
Rock, paper, scissors, you're done.
Scissors.
Like, come on, man. It's devastating. Like, good Lord.
There's a lot of games.
Just so much, man. But I think it's a great show. And I'm excited to see the second season. I'm hoping that it's not one of those things that just like jumps the shark and just becomes like so repetitive that it's not fun anymore. But I felt like they did such a good job building that first season that I'm pretty excited to see that next season. So, but I think we're probably gonna move off of Squid Games and probably gonna go to our next topic. We're gonna go to all of ours. This is we'll call this a trigger. This is probably a trigger subject for us three. Yeah, we're stretching. Let's get ready. So we're gonna go to Batman. We all have very strong feelings about all of the Batmans. And I think we're probably just gonna get it started off, man, with everybody's question, like, who's the best Batman? So, like, I think we may all have a different opinion on this. So we're gonna start out with Gideon, and we're gonna work our way down the line and kind of get everybody's opinion on who the best Batman is.
I'll say this: if you know me, I'm one of the biggest Batman fans you'll ever meet.
I know you.
I love Batman. Batman's my favorite superhero by far. Now, when I don't know how many people, I don't know if you guys have, but Batman the animated series is my favorite show that DC has ever made. So when I watch a Batman movie, I want a Batman like that. Who resembles a Batman like that more than Ben Affleck? There's nobody in the world who can play Batman like Ben Affleck played Batman.
It's like you try to trigger me with that. I think you kind of don't believe that.
So hold on, to wrap it up, Ben Affleck is the best Batman. He looks the most like Bruce Wayne. He has the best build for Bruce Wayne and Batman. He played Batman the best he could play Batman with Zack Snyder's killer Batman script that he had for Batman vs. Superman, and then played him beautifully in Justice League the Snyder Cut. So, Ben Affleck is an A+ Batman.
Okay, breathe, everyone. So yeah, Ben Affleck is just get him the bleepity bleep out. Get him. Okay, so this is my take. I agree with you on Bruce Wayne. Okay. So make a Bruce Wayne movie without Batman. Like, say, just make an Origins and then have Ben Affleck play him. He can play him. He's got the chin. He's got the jaw. All that stuff. But you're saying that he plays the best Batman. All he did was wear a stiff suit, and then they even the director. I even read this. The director had to say, "Hey, listen, I don't like your freaking voice, so let's go ahead and modify it." With the thing. That wasn't really true.
Who's
The
your
director,
Who's your favorite Batman?
Definitely not Ben Affleck. But it's a toss-up between... So, okay. Michael Keaton definitely made the best modernized Batman. But going from that, after that, it's a toss-up between Christian Bale and Michael Keaton for me. I think Christian Bale made... I think he made a good Batman. He made a good Bruce Wayne. He didn't have the exact face, but oh,
brother.
He was a great Bruce Wayne. Well, he was a good Bruce Wayne. He was a great Batman. Let's just say that. Ben Affleck was a great Bruce Wayne. That's it.
Barry, what do you have to say?
That's a mic drop right there.
That's how he sounds.
I think, I'm not a, what? So I could like just explode the internet if I just Val Kilmer, best Batman ever
I
made.
just stop.
My favorite Batman.
I
love
the
please.
comments
Better-
would be crazy.
Better, yeah, the best Batman ever. Okay, no, I'm not. Just kidding. That's not true. It's George Clooney. No, just kidding. It's not that either. Just kidding. No, okay. So it's definitely Elon's right. I mean, come on, dude. You know who the best Batman is? It's Michael Keaton. It's not even close.
5'11" Michael Keaton.
Okay, first off, it doesn't matter.
Is that threatening to you? If you're getting approached by how tall a 6'1" or 2" man, and then here comes 5'11" Batman, that's intimidating to you?
How tall is Ben Affleck?
6'2", 6'3", 260.
I feel like you just made that up right now.
I know. Someone looked it up.
It's not true.
Ben Affleck
Someone
is
on the
best bill
internet
for Batman.
tell us how big Ben Affleck is. Okay, but it doesn't matter because the thing is Michael Keaton was the best Batman because he was in the best Batman movies. Okay, because I mean they were the darkest. They absolutely encapsulated everything that Batman was. Batman was in the shadows. Everything the way Tim Burton did such an awesome job filming those movies, right? And literally, they stand the test of time, right? You watch those movies, they don't even feel dated. They feel like newer movies. And I feel like that's what made Michael Keaton the best Batman because he was just in the best Batman movies. Because I feel like they were just filmed better. They were written better. They felt like they were more of an homage to what the Dark Knight stood for. Right? The closest for me was Bale that did that, but he was so hinky in how he acted it out. Like I felt like the movies were good, but I felt like he wasn't. I felt like the exterior or the assisting cast almost outshadowed him.
Just
right?
about to say that. I feel like every time he's in a movie, someone outperforms him.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
first one-
look at Joker,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Joker was what
was the
made
movie.
that, right?
I mean, that's a good point, actually. I will say this side note. Gideon, this is for you.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so because you're the comic guru here,
Yeah.
you know more
Yeah.
than both of us,
Sure.
me and Barrett. So
Combined.
yeah. So what I'm saying is because you don't like the fact it really triggers you the fact that Batman kills, right?
Yes, it does.
Ben Affleck did that. Also, so did Michael Keaton. So there's a toss up
did every
generic.
Batman.
The only not Christian Bale's Batman.
Yes, he did.
Who?
Okay, so let's boil it down to this.
Oh, here
The
we
first,
go.
Batman Begins. He's in when he's in there with Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul says, "Are you going to kill me?" He said, "No, but I'm not
That's
going to save you
debatable.
either."
Right,
He
so
said,
he didn't
"No,
kill
but
him.
I'm not going to save you either."
So
Batman saves the criminal.
but he didn't up and crazy straight up kill him though. He didn't kill him.
but let's look at this. Let's look at this through the other movies. Why does he save Joker then? If he's not going to save Ra's al Ghul, but he then further goes out his way to try to save Two-Face in that movie, and then he goes out there and tries to save Joker in that movie and successfully
He
saves
straight up
Joker in
did
that
not.
movie.
He didn't try to save Two-Face. Well, he kind of did to talk him down, but then he said, "You know what? Bleepity bleep it." He tackled him and then killed him.
But here's what I'll say: maybe he had to kill Ghoul to get to. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's the
Why
trigger.
does Batman have to kill though? He's
No, but
not
what
a
I mean
killer.
is maybe that's the trigger that made him want to save everyone else, right? Maybe
That's-
he knew
but-
he made the wrong decision.
But that
right
should
there.
be his agenda from the get go. Once his parents dies, his thing is not to kill these guys. It's vengeance and justice. He's not trying to kill these guys. He's trying to do right. So he's trying to protect the people. So something like that happened to him doesn't happen to somebody else. That's his whole thing.
Yeah, we could tell by Martha.
Oh God, here we go. That's absolutely brilliant storytelling. I don't care what anyone says.
Boom.
Brilliant storytelling.
Their
Right.
mothers had the same name.
Okay, so we're getting on the story of Martha, and that was kind of dumb. Yeah, that's not what's gonna make me hate the movie, though. Is that what makes you guys hate it? Like, what other besides Martha? Besides they had the same name, because the whole internet hates that. Everyone hates that. But what's wrong with the rest of the movie? And then also, we already touched on it. We already know every Batman killed. So what else besides that?
Well, I think it's a combination of two things. One, this movie was extremely rushed. I mean, they try to fit the Justice League, and are you referring to Batman?
Wait a minute, hold on. Rushed. Yeah, we're talking about Batman versus Superman. You're talking about the Martha thing.
Yeah.
So Batman versus Superman was rushed. That thing was 3 hours, was it?
It was like
Was
two
it not?
hours. Like it was almost 3 hours. But when I mean rushed, I don't mean like the storyline was rushed. I mean the things they were trying to put in that movie was rushed. They try to fit multiple arcs in a movie. Like they tried to do Batman vs Superman, but they also tried to do the death of Superman in that movie. And they tried to incorporate all the Justice League members in the movie. They were trying to do a little too much. I feel like the movie was a little too, not rushed, but a little too crammed for like storytelling.
I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that because, and I think here's why. I mean, in all honesty, DC was behind. They needed to catch up. I don't know what the heck they were doing when Marvel was putting all their stuff out. They were going through Batmans and phases and stuff, I guess, but they had so much other potential, like other characters and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe that was forced. I feel the same way. I think they were trying to instead of worrying about the quality of their product, they were trying to get it out as quickly as possible to compete with Marvel, right?
100%.
And so if they would have just took more time and made a better product, I think that you could tell that. Also, let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. Zack Snyder, man, like you guys are fans, and
Absolutely.
I'm about to just be the most hated guy on the internet. Like Zack Snyder, man, like he tells the longest, most ridiculous stories in the world, and literally have like 90-minute fight scenes. Like, bro, settle it down. Like, what are we doing? Can we tell a story, or are we just like gonna throw together like the most artistically great movie ever with the stupidest story ever? Like that, I felt like that's where it was for me. Like it was so hard to get like into the movie because it was so choppy in how it told the story, right? Like especially with Batman versus Superman. Like, come on, man. Like tell me what's happening. Like I felt like Marvel did so much of a better job of making a good looking movie, but we're telling a cohesive story, right? And we're trying to get to an end game. I never felt like DC's universe ever hit that for me. Like that they were trying to tell a cohesive story and we're trying to get somewhere, right? Like Marvel had it mapped out. I don't feel like DC ever had nothing mapped out. They were like, let's just get the next movie out, right? And I don't know that there was an end game there, right? Like I didn't feel like it. Maybe in the Snyder cut, you could kind of see where he was trying to go with it. But did they have the same vision? Obviously not,
No.
because they cut the movie, they chopped the movie up, put out a bastardized version of it that everyone hated because you're missing what 40% of the movie.
Yeah.
So now it doesn't make any sense. And then where are you trying to go? Like you need to have a plan on where you're trying to take the story before you put the story out. I feel like you just threw out a story just to throw out a story because you got it all in the can. Well, let's just make a movie out of it. But they don't have a plan on where they're going or what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
I think I agree in that part. As far as a plan, I don't know. They got some things like Martian, the Martian, and then Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Please remake that movie. They're not going to do it?
They're not gonna do it because he was supposed to be in that movie and he got completely cut out.
Stupid. Yeah, they're making wrong decisions, but here's the thing too, just to be fair, Marvel has been through some growing pains, let's admit. Like, I mean, they were going bankrupt before Blade came out, and then Blade literally picked them up, put them on the map, and then from there it was like then they start Iron Man. Once Iron Man, after that too, that's when they really started the MCU thing. And like they had to go through some growing pains with the Hulk movie and stuff. I mean, they went through 2 Hulks and literally didn't follow through with them. So I think the last one with Edward Norton was partly because Edward Norton is kind of a dick, in real life. Like he's not good, he's not cool to work with. So I think that was part of it. But you know what I mean. Like they've been through some growing pains. They've had tested and tried and tested and true stuff. So they know kind of where to map out. And then of course on top of that, with Disney buying them. And Disney has money to do anything with, so they can just, make it. DC, what do they got? They got scripts or whatever that are tossed between directors, and so far Zack Snyder's the best. But let's see that new one, the new Batman. So there's a lot there. It's convoluted.
Yeah, let's move on to that. So the new Batman trailer. The new Batman trailer, I mean, this looks legit.
Yeah.
Like, I want to say I was immediately skeptical when we're casting vampires as Batman. When I see Pattinson, I'm immediately like, no.
Yeah.
And the first couple of like teaser trailers, I was still kind of like, no. And then this latest trailer came out, and I'm like, dude, this looks awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they are finally captured. They're getting back to the Dark Knight, right? Like, they're getting back to what it needs to be. It needs to be that darkness. It needs to be that vengeance. It needs to be all of that stuff with, because I feel like Batman's one of those guys that's like right there on the edge, right? Like, he could go bad at any moment, it feels like, right? Like, he's that guy. He's not that, like, Superman, I'm the best guy ever, right? He's always right there. He seems like he's towing that line, right? And he kind of goes a little crazy sometimes. This is the guy. Like, this looks amazing.
Like immediately when I watched that trailer, I was like, this is the Batman that we need to see. We have a Batman that's actually like angry. He's angry at
We don't
everyone.
deserve him, but he's the Batman we need.
Yes. Yeah, wow, that was so great. Yeah, that was great. like I was saying, like you see in the scene when he's beating the thug up, when he's beating the thug up, and a villain like Catwoman is looking at him in shock. That's the type of Batman I need. But don't push him too far, please. I swear, I told you this.
I know. Yeah.
If he kills someone, I'm walking out of the theater because it's instantly not a Batman story. It's not a Batman story.
I understand.
It's something else. But I mean, and surprisingly, he looks really good in the suit. Like I was expecting. Like I didn't know how he was gonna look because he's not. He's like he has like the. He's tall, but he's like not that wide. Like you know what I'm saying. He's like he's not the most buff guy in the world like Ben Affleck was. So I was gonna be scared. I didn't know exactly how he was gonna look in the suit.
He isn't 6'2".
Yeah, he's 6'2", 260.
260, right?
But it looks like he's gonna play him really good. They got a really good actor for Catwoman, a really good actor for Riddler, a really good actor for Penguin. So I think this movie's gonna be really
let me
good.
tell you, okay, who doesn't know that Colin Farrell is Penguin? I mean, the makeup, and then Colin Farrell's a good actor. He's really good. He does good acting. What was I gonna say though?
I don't know.
Yeah.
The makeup.
No, I was gonna say back in when we were talking about how we didn't really like when we knew vampire sparkly skin vampire was playing. I was with people for a part, but I tell you, I just reminisced about my thoughts when what's his name when playing the Joker, Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have Mr. Knight's Tale play. I was all on like, what are they thinking? Because I was in my mind, Christian Slater. If you look at his face and his smile, totally can play a Joker. He has that voice and he has that smile and that face. I thought like you guys need to cast that dude. Sorry, but and then when I seen Heath Ledger's performance, I mean, so I learned kind of. So the first trailer was like, okay, and then when he was just beating up those guys and stuff, it was like, all right, this is looking like it's pretty dark and it can be something. And then the second trailer, everybody just, it was awesome.
It was good. It was really
Yeah, I feel like for me, man, it was that dude. I mean, it's the little stuff, right? Like the Batmobile.
Oh yeah, it looks so good. It's a muscle car.
It's dope.
It's not like over exaggerated. It's like an actual car. Yeah.
Yes, and he like gets into that chase with that dude and flips his car over. And when he's walking over the car and just fire behind him, I'm like, dude, this is gonna be dope. But yeah, man, I feel like hopefully Batman's got a new future, and hopefully Batman will be everything that we have been looking for, right? Because I feel like all of them have been a little bit short somewhere. But I feel like this is it, man. This looks good, hopefully. So we'll have to wait and see, kind of what's going to happen with that. But then we'll transition over to our next topic, Spider-Man. So got a new Spider-Man coming out, and Spider-Man, it feels like over the last few years has like just taken off, right? You got PS4 and 5 Spider-Man games. You got Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Into the Spider-Verse.
You got Tom Holland, right? It's been crazy.
You got the Venom movies. You got a lot of stuff for Spider-Man related.
The Venom movies coming out, and it's killing right now. Everybody's loving it. But I think we're probably going to start out with kind of like we do with Batman. Who's the best Spider-Man, in your opinion, as far as, and we'll go with animated Spider-Man too. Who's your best Spider-Man period up to now? So I'll start with Gideon, and we'll kind of work our way down the line and kind of give our thoughts on that.
Well, okay. So this question is hard to answer because there's a lot of things that goes into a Spider-Man. I'll start.
Break it down for me, fellas. That's a young MC.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I wasn't around that time.
I know you were. You're just a little speck in my eye. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
Sparkle, yeah.
Sparkle.
Oh my god. Okay.
You weren't even thinking of Ben Affleck yet.
I don't even remember the question. What was I talking about?
You're good.
The Spider-Man. You were gonna break
Spider-Man.
it down for us.
Okay.
Who's your favorite Spider-Man?
It's a complicated question to answer because I like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I feel like he was the best Spider-Man. I feel like he acted the most like Spider-Man, but he really wasn't the best Peter Parker. Then you have a guy like Tom Holland, who's a great Peter Parker and a great Spider-Man, but he like always kind of gets saved out by like Tony Stark. I feel like it revolves around Tony Stark a little too much. The first movie, the only reason that Vulture is the villain in that movie is because of Tony Stark. The second movie, Mysterio, the only reason he's a villain is because of Tony Stark. Is he even Spider-Man or is he Iron Boy? I mean, I don't know. Then you have, and everyone hold on. We have Andrew Garfield. Now.
Feel a hot take.
Now.
Hot take.
Andrew Garfield is the perfect Spider-Man. Now, hold on.
I need you to go.
Hold on.
Oh.
This is why Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man. He plays the best Spider-Man, and he plays the best Peter Parker. He doesn't play the best at both, but he does it best enough to be the best overall. Was the second Amazing...
Too much bests.
I know it's hard for you to follow. I know when I start saying a couple of words.
It's like a spider web.
Oh my god. Okay.
Got him.
To wrap it up in a web. Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man. It's a fact.
Wow.
All right. Okay. It's a fact. Okay. So just to break it down, because mine's gonna stem off of yours. You said that. What'd you say? Oh yeah, you said Maguire. Tobey Maguire is a good Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm. No, he's not a good Peter Parker. He's a good Spider-Man.
I thought you said he was a good Peter Parker. Okay, he's not a good. So he's a good Spider-Man, but not a good Peter Parker. It's kind of just like Ben Affleck's a good.
Okay, we're talking about Spider-Man.
I'm just saying. I'm just giving that comparison. But yeah, I think he's a good. I think Tobey Maguire. It's hard to me, it's a toss-up between them. I know I can't make up my mind. I'm just not mature. Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire. I don't like whatever his name is. It's not even important to me to know his name. The guy.
Why?
I don't think he's a perfect Spider-Man because, come on, let's think about it. 90% of the time it's CG anyway. Why is he the best Spider-Man? You know what I'm saying? Him as Tobey Maguire, he seems too much of a... He doesn't seem like dorky enough, nerdy enough to me. Tobey Maguire does, definitely. He looks dorky and stuff in a cool way, but dorky. He's a good actor. So he plays a dork pretty good. I think he's kind of dorky in real life too. But anyway, I think he plays a good Peter Parker. I'm not attacking him. He's one of my favorite. Hey, bro, I'm with you. But as Spider-Man, he's a lot of times CG as well. So... To me, as far as the best Spider-Man, I think they're all the same as far as Spider-Man goes. You know what I mean? You got CG and then you got them overdubbing in the voice. That's it.
Interesting take.
Yeah, this is kind of a tough question for me. I think it's definitely Tom Holland. I think he's
Iron Boy?
Yes, Iron Boy. I think he's absolutely... I think he fit the mold for Spider-Man the best.
Yeah,
I think he
does.
was the most believable Spider-Man.
Yeah, okay,
right?
but before you guys start coming at me,
Because Tobey Maguire looked like he was like 39 years old.
he did.
So let's just go ahead and throw that out there.
You said what? He's what?
Tobey Maguire looked like he was like 39 years old when he was playing Spider-Man. Like he's in high
Yeah,
school and
he
he's
did look really
36. Like, come on, get out of here with that crap. Tom Holland still looks like he's 17. Let's just go ahead and he actually looks like he could be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that way with Tobey Maguire. Now he did a great job. Like those movies were awesome when they came out. I was like, yes, Spider-Man's back. This is great. But I feel like Tom Holland's probably the best. But for me, like the best Spider-Man, like let's get into movies. I think it's absolutely the Miles Morales Spider-Man. That was one of the most awesome movies I've seen in a long time. I felt like it was well written. I felt like the animation style was like so original and hadn't been done before. It was like you were watching a comic book being acted out in a movie, right? And they did such an awesome job. The soundtrack, the movie, all the characters, all the actors were like perfectly cast. All the different Spider-Mans, like, dude, you couldn't beat that with a stick, man. Like that movie was for me the not even close to best Spider-Man. But like I said, I'm going Tom Holland as far as live action. But as far as Spider-Man movie, I'm going into Spider-Verse. It's gotta be that one. But I'll pass it over to Eli. We'll see what he thinks about movie was.
Yeah. So I can't really say nothing. I can't really say nothing too about the Miles Morales because I never watched the movie. Oh God, don't judge. I know. Hey, put it in comments if you really hate that. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you guys will put that in there. But yeah, I gotta watch it.
I'm gonna put it in there.
I don't really watch animated stuff. I'm not a little 2-year-old. No, I'm just fine. But no, I still gotta watch it. I'll watch it. But as far as so I can only speak on the ones I've watched. So man, there's 3 of the Tobey Maguire ones. There's only 2, and I love the origins of Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, and he got bit by the spider, and then it shows him climbing the wall, and he's having fun with it. There's something about that I really liked, and I'm nostalgic too, so I will have to say that I like that the
first
best. Yeah, the first one with Tobey. The first, and I did like the one with Sandman.
Ooh, yeah, you and a little amount of people.
Yeah, I tend to, and you know what I always say. I don't care how many people. I'm not interested in the pop, but I like what I like. I like the Sandman one. What was the other villain in there?
And the third one?
And I like Dr. Ock. So that's the thing. And see, the thing is, other people like that actor too, man. They bringing him back. They say. I mean, who else would play that?
Well, to go to my favorite Spider-Man movie, after I gave all the high praise to Andrew Garfield, I really didn't particularly like any of the movies. I like the first main Spider-Man movie, but I like y'all are such haters. Okay, we're moving on. The best Spider-Man movie.
Go ahead and give him a thumbs down.
The best Spider-Man movie is the second Spider-Man and the Tobey Maguire one with Doc Ock. That's one of the best comic movies of all time. I mean, I think Doc Ock was an amazing villain for that movie, and I think the conflict between him wanting to not be Spider-Man anymore because he's seeing how it negatively is like it's affecting his life so much where he has to pick, does he want to be a regular person or does he want to be Spider-Man? And that's the conflict that I always liked with Spider-Man because it's like relatable. Like, what do you want to do because you only have enough time to do one thing? And I really liked the story of the second one, and the Sam Raimi movies were the best Spider-Man trilogy because it's only a trilogy.
Yeah, and I think this would be a good segue. So let's get into the newest Spider-Man movie. So Far From Home.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of trailers, and the latest trailer was absolutely insane. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Yes.
If you haven't watched it, I don't know what planet you're living on or what you're doing, but you need to go watch it. What I want to know is there's so many ideas about how this movie should go. right? It seems like in popular opinion, everybody's saying, well, A, B, C, and D has to happen for this to be a great Spider-Man, right? Because everybody has all these expectations because of
high expectations,
who they've seen cast already, right? Because you know Doc Ock coming back.
And the leaked photos that you've seen.
You know it's coming back. It's a multiverse, right? Yeah. So my question is to you guys, what has to happen in this movie for it to be a great Spider-Man, for it to be the best Spider-Man ever made? Well, what has to happen to make that happen?
I'll go first. I think it's going to have to be a lot of things because of what the anticipation is for this movie. We know that it's going to be, for sure, Doc Ock's going to come back. Green Goblin's going to come back. And then it's kind of like...
Who are they casting on that? Do we know?
It's the same actors.
Really? That's dope.
So it's still William Dafoe. And then you have Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man, Jamie Foxx. So those are the ones that we've seen, like leaked type things. There's speculation that it's Sandman. So I want to say another thing. Have any of you guys watched Venom 2?
2? No.
Okay. Do you want to hear a spoiler?
No.
Okay. Well, I won't go into it then. But there could be more. There could be more.
It can be relatable. Yeah.
So I think the main thing that needs to happen for this movie to be great, there has to be 2 other Spider-Mans. I feel like that has Toby and Andrew have to come back for this movie. Because we're expecting at this point. If they're not in the movie, that's a huge letdown because you have the characters from those other movies, so they need to be in that movie. And it also needs to be a movie where Tom Holland's Spider-Man is like a hero by himself, like can actually get the job done by himself. I mean, like the first movie basically gets saved by Iron Man. I don't care what anyone says. Second movie, he's using all the Iron Man tech. I think he needs to be able to be his own hero. I feel like that needs to happen, and depending on where they want to go after this third movie, if they want to continue with Tom Holland being Spider-Man after this movie, which is still up in the air, I want to see a transition from him being the high school Spider-Man to him being like actual Spider-Man, like him being an adult, working at the Daily Bugle. Yes, a man. Yeah. Him working at the Daily Bugle and actually telling other type of Spider-Man stories that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I actually have to agree on that for sure. And then also, I see what you're saying when I actually had Slick like kind of had a problem with the whole things on his back, the legs, the Iron Man legs, or whatever that he rigged up. Yeah, slider. To me, like that's cool, but he's got enough strength and powers to be his own without
like why does he need that tech?
Yeah, I think I do agree with that. Like he needs to come in his own and figure out something, and his strength growing more, as becoming Spider-Man.
Yeah.
As far as what I think needs to happen, yeah, I mean, like, and I just learned from you guys, like, I didn't know the Green Goblin, like William Dafoe, was gonna come back. I didn't know. I knew Dr. Ock, obviously, but and then who was the other? Yeah, Electro. I didn't know Jamie Foxx. I didn't know that. I read that they were gonna do something more with that, but I didn't know it was gonna come into this universe. But anyway, so with that being said, yeah, they definitely need to bring Tobey Maguire and
Andrew Garfield.
I don't want to hear that, but yeah, I don't. I mean, let's not, let's bring him in. Let's bring the guy in. Come on, and that's fine. Yeah, I think that does work.
There's a leaked photo of Andrew Garfield that looks pretty real.
Photoshopped, but yeah.
We can't show anything like that because Sony will take our video down. Which also know if it was fan made, Sony won't be taking these down. So I think they are real.
Fan made trailer.
Well, they did put it out. So you're saying Sony would take it down if it was real?
Yeah, I think Sony only.
Well, how come they didn't?
They do. If it's in a video,
they do. Take it down. Oh, okay. Well.
Won't be in our video.
Won't
be ours, yeah.
Will not.
So yeah, I pretty much agree. I do feel like you've got to have them all there because if not, what's even the point of the multiverse? As far as the Iron Spider, I think they kind of had to do that because I think they're trying to stick to canon at least a little bit. And Multiverse Spider-Man, that was canon. I mean, he was Iron Spider at that point, so. I think that they were, trying to stick to canon as much as possible and trying to stick to the comic books as much as possible. So I think you kind of had to have Iron Spider. I don't think you got to worry. I mean, you're only if your worry is can he be an independent hero? There's no one left to bail him out. They're all gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's got to. I feel like that this film, for it to be great for me, is him taking the reins as the leader of the MCU at this point, right? Him being like taking Iron Man's seat, right? Taking Tony Stark's seat and being that leader. That's what's got to happen here for me. You can't keep letting. I'm like you get out. You can't keep letting him be second fiddle to everybody in his own movies.
Yeah.
And being second fiddle to every other hero, right? With all the heroes gone, he's got to be the next. He's got to be the guy, right? And in the comics, he was the guy, right? He
became the guy. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. He was the alpha in the comics, right? So especially like once Civil War happened, and then everything after that, everybody's gone. Everybody dies. Spider-Man is the one kind of left holding the bag. So I feel like you gotta push that storyline for sure. So, but man, I'm excited to see it. The previews look amazing. The multiverse looks like it's going to be one of the funnest things they've done in a while. But it kind of going to shift us off to another topic. So as far as the MCU, like for me, I've been kind of thinking, what's the future of the MCU, right? And for me, like, I feel like it's in the series that are coming out on Disney Plus, right? Just saw a new Hawkeye trailer. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't think Hawkeye could ever be awesome by himself, but dude,
know, right?
that trailer looks amazing. I felt the same way about, I mean, everyone that they've put out has absolutely went above and beyond my expectations, right? So it kind of makes me want to ask you guys, like, do you feel like that next step in the MCU, is it going to come from the series, or are the series just building to the movies? Like, where do you think it's going from here, Gideon? I'll throw it to you and get your thoughts on it.
It's tough because the series are some of the best things that the MCU has put out. But the thing is, how far can they go with the series? Because not everyone's going to have access to Disney Plus. So how much can they continue the arc and the storyline through Disney Plus? I don't know. But the story, the all the shows have been great. I mean, Loki was amazing. Falcon the Winter Soldier was amazing. WandaVision was amazing. What If was amazing. All these shows were amazing shows. And I feel like Marvel's kind of at a point, like, what else? What can they do without these main characters that they had to get rid of? Essentially, with the one of the best in game, one of the best ways to end a story for all those characters. I think it has to be through the shows. They need to build new characters some way. And with the new thing with Eternals, I don't know how well it's going to go with them doing that in a movie format. I don't know how well that would go. I mean, I would say to that, I think, yes, Disney Plus is how they need to bring new characters in. You can have them spring through all those shows. I feel like that's how they're going to need to do this and then lead to the movies.
All right, yeah. I think it's hard. Like it can be vice versa. Like like I agree with all of you guys. Like the shows, the series are just on point. Like I didn't have much faith in them either. Like WandaVision, and especially the beginning of that, I was like, "Oh, what is this?" You know. And then it just started getting deeper. I mean, and spoiler alerts. I'm not going to really mention crazy stuff, but just like it just got weird, and then I like weird, and then it just got me into it, and then it got more deeper. The same thing with Loki, the same thing with Hawkeye and Captain America. I mean, all those were good. So I think they're building up to that universe where they can leave it hanging or a cliffhanger to make a movie, kind of just like The Walking Dead did. And they're gonna make a movie, and then they can make spinoffs. So I think it's going to work both ways. They can definitely go the Hollywood way and then go into series, because trust me, there's a lot of people that have Disney Plus. There's a lot of companies that are actually making, promotions for people to get Disney Plus. So like half the world's got Disney Plus.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like it's definitely I think it's a sustainable way to make it. right? So like you can keep building these series and build off the series to build the movies, but then also they've done such a good job of building those storylines for these characters that were considered secondary characters to make them like the focal point of their own series. When they first came out with that, I'm like, how are they even going to do that? And dude, they absolutely killed it. Like they've made all these dudes the primary characters, all these characters the primary characters, and they all stand out and work fantastic as standalone series, right? And I think the crossover capability for all these is like limitless, right? You could put them in and out of each other's universes because they got the multiverse. So I think it's an awesome way to build it. It kind of reminds me of the way DC did like Arrow and Flash and how they built out those series. And those series were better than the movies. I mean, I feel like all those DC series absolutely destroyed the movies as far as the quality of the story and the character building they did in those series. But yeah, I feel like this. I feel the same way. I feel like the future's in. Everybody at this point, everybody's got Disney Plus.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I don't feel like that's limiting people from seeing it because everybody's got it. Because with the bundles now, like Eli was saying, I mean, I feel like you're not going to limit that. But yeah, I feel like it's definitely the future of the MCU for me. I feel like those series are going to carry them well into the next phase of the shows. So, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, especially with, like you said, with the side characters then becoming the main characters. They took a side character in Falcon and then made him Captain America now. He's Captain America now. And the way they did that was amazing. You took a character that had limited screen times in all these movies, and then was a main focus, and then now is going to be one of the main people coming into the movies.
Slick almost cried at that movie at the end of it. I'm not even gonna lie, like it was emotional.
Yeah, that show. Yeah, that show was really good. That show had everything that you needed in the show. Yeah. It didn't go too woke, as people would say. It didn't go too woke. It didn't go, and it wasn't based just on action. You weren't there just to see all the action scenes. It was really good acting, really good storytelling. And that was by far my favorite show out of all of them.
Yeah. One thing I was gonna say too that also helps is we kind of talk about like series is different from when we were growing up. Series is like the new movie. Like everyone's making series out of everything. You know, you got series of Hannibal, you got series of you name it. You know, and then Mandalorian, yeah, and then Disney's just killing it with the series now. But they're making series out of everything. Almost every movie that we grew up with now is a series. That's what's crazy. So I think the series can go well. And then they can always and then with that multiverse, I mean, how can you screw up a multiverse? Literally, you can make anything happen. You can explain away anything. And Hollywood's already good at doing that. Let's bring someone that died 15 years ago back because this and this happened. With the multiverse, you don't even have to really explain it. It's a multiverse. That's it.
Yeah. They've really connected that through all of them.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, it's going to be exciting to see where they take this MCU. Like I said, I just saw like a new trailer for Hawkeye the other day. It looks amazing. Like it looks like it's going to be absolutely kick butt from start to finish, man. It looks like it's going to be like a never-ending action movie.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
So yeah, it's awesome. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It looks really good. But yeah, speaking of when we were kids, we're going to transition to our next topic. This will probably be the last thing we hit on this episode, but Ghostbusters. Me and Eli we're old enough to remember the wonderfulness that was Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Gideon, I'm sure, seen it.
I have seen it.
So at least he knows. But we grew up with it, right? Lunchboxes, cartoon shows, everything was Ghostbusters. So there's a new Ghostbusters coming out, which looks like it's going to be, I feel like maybe it's going to bring us back to where Ghostbusters was in its heyday. I think it's Egon's son. Is it Raimi? I think he's directing it. Okay. I'm pretty sure. I'll double check that. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments.
Yeah, you better kill the comments.
But I'm pretty sure he's directing it. And it looks like it's absolutely harkening back to like the heyday, the height of Ghostbusters, and paying homage to the history of Ghostbusters. But I know we've all watched the trailer, and I kind of wanted to start with Gideon. We'll get your thoughts on the trailer and kind of how you feel like it connects to the original movies, and if it's gonna kind of take us into that next level and hopefully get us kickstarted into a new round of Ghostbuster movies.
Yeah, well, it's always interesting with like when they remake movies because you never know how it's gonna go because people are so attached, especially with Ghostbusters, to those original movies that when you
Look at the last
yeah, I was just about
Ghostbusters
to hit on
movie
that.
they try to make.
The last Ghostbusters, and this is not because it was all women. I feel like it can go good. It can don't get us canceled now. It can go well. It just needs to be a good story, not a forced story. I want a Ghostbuster movies that's like still connected to that universe because there wasn't many connections in that last Ghostbuster movies. I feel like this movie has a lot of potential. I mean, the trailer looks good. I feel like there are a lot of good actors in this movie. I just hope it pays homage well to the originals, and it doesn't try to be the original. It tries to be something else, but it still can be a Ghostbusters type of movie. Like I don't want to see the same type of movie as what the last ones were. I want to see an original story. I want to see an original take on a Ghostbusters universe. So I'm excited to see the movie. Do I think it will be good? I hope it will be good. But most remakes, you can go. I mean, you have like the Predator, you have Terminator, and it's kind of like not a remake, but it's like when you're going too far with a series, a series of movies. So I hope Ghostbusters is good.
Yeah, I agree. I want something new and original too, but also I'm nostalgic, like I said. So bringing back that spoiler alerts if you don't want nothing till you see the trailer. That Demon Dog, saw that, loved it. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was in there. That would be really cool if he still went big. They were small then in the trailer, but and then just if Bill Murray ain't in it at some point, then it's just.
Yeah, Bill Murray needs to be.
It's not good. It's not cool. It can still make it without him, but I don't see why they wouldn't. But anyway, yeah, bring back that nostalgia and then make it original. I think that because like if you remember the original 1 and 2 Ghostbusters was the best. I mean, well, that was the only ones from us growing up. But like Bill Murray was like the comic relief, even though they were all comedians. Bill Murray did it for me. He was hilarious. And so if he joins, and then I think Paul Rudd, who's in there, is amazing too. Like he plays really good like klutz, but I don't know how to explain it.
Paul Rudd is a really good actor.
Yeah, he's a good actor, and he has really good comic relief. So I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be original. They just gotta show it more with something. I like also what's the guy, the Slimer. They had that. They gotta have him. Yeah. The Slimer goes. So yeah, I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good too. I think they did a great job, or kind of making a new. Like it looks like they've made a new movie, but they've just kind of added in the history, right? So I'm excited to see them continue the story, right? Because it's almost like they picked it up where it left off, right? Because I think like my favorite part of one of their trailers I watched was when they watched the original commercial on YouTube. And then they call the number, and then you can hear Dan Aykroyd answer the phone. Like, I was just like so pumped. I'm like, yes, let's go. Like, this is gonna be amazing. So I'm excited that universe for me is awesome. I think it's a cool like original universe because you just have so much superhero stuff and so much of just repetitive stuff that just keeps getting done over and over and over. Right? It's like all your horror movies feel like they're the same movie.
Halloween.
Everything just feels like it's just remixed and repeated, and this looks original. I mean, like the preview looks awesome. You got the actors from Stranger Things in there. It looks great. Like I'm so pumped about it, but hopefully it'll be good. And like I said, if you haven't seen the trailer, go check it out. And then once it comes out, we'll take a look at it and kind of do a rundown on it, do a preview of it. But yeah, I'm excited about that. But I think that's probably all we got for this episode. We're going to call it an episode, and we will catch you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace.
Ben Affleck's best Batman.